The council chamber flickered with the cool glow of holograms, Earth's leaders appearing as wavering figures over a polished obsidian table. The room was quiet except for the low hum of the station's energy core far below. President Helena Voss, sharp-eyed and unwavering, leaned forward. "They will strike again," she said. "We're not dealing with common raiders. The Zytherian Empire doesn't issue threats. They send messages written in blood." Before anyone could respond, the lights dimmed. A ripple of static ran through the holograms. A figure emerged from the chamber wall, like living smoke. 7 feet of sleek, alien armor fused with writhing nanites. Its helmet reflected nothing. With no sound but the whisper of air displacement, it advanced, plasma blade raised. Counselor Rahim gasped, backing into his chair. "Security!" A flash of motion silenced him. Something had appeared between the assassin and its target. A black silhouette, crouched low, cloak rippling like water. A whisper of steel met the hiss of plasma. Sparks rained across the darkened chamber. "Who?" Helena began, but the words froze on her lips. The alien assassin tilted its head, recalculating. The man before wore no armor, just an obsidian mask and a body-wrapped suit of dark fabric. No energy weapons, no visible technology. Yet his stance radiated danger. The assassin struck with mechanical precision, blades slicing through the air. The man moved before it landed, weightless, as if gravity obeyed him. His short blade, dull black, found the assassin's wrist joint. A twist, a snap, the alien's blade clattered to the floor. Helena couldn't look away. In a single heartbeat, the assassin's head was severed. It rolled across the polished floor, nanite scattering like sand. Silence fell. The masked man sheathed his blade with a quiet click. His voice was calm, low, deliberate. The shadows of Earth have teeth. He turned, meeting Helena's gaze with sharp, storm-gray eyes visible through the slits of his mask. "My name is Kaito Arisher. You were about to die." Helena swallowed, regaining composure. "Who sent you?" "Your people did," Kaito said. He walked past the fallen assassin, stepping over its shattered helmet. "The Zytherian Empire has dispatched an elite squad called the Ebon Fong. This was only one of them. Their master will not stop until Earth bows." Rahim's voice shook. "If this is one of them, how do we fight the rest? Our fleets will be destroyed," Kaito interrupted. His tone carried no insult, only certainty. "Their technology outmatches yours 1,000-fold. But shadows defeat light not with strength, but with silence. That's why I'm here." Helena stood. "And who exactly are you, Kaito Arisher?" "A servant of Earth's last defense," he said. "Where machines grow arrogant, humans adapt. The Ebon Fong will fall, but I'll have to hunt them beyond your skies." One of the generals leaned forward in the hologram projection. "You're proposing to take on an entire assassin squad alone." Kaito's eyes narrowed. "One blade can cut 1,000 threads if it strikes the right knot. They rely on technology. I rely on nothing but discipline, strategy, and shadows." Helena studied him, recognizing the quiet fire in his voice. It wasn't bravado. It was conviction. "Then what do you need?" "Access to your orbital stealth ship," Kaito replied. "The Raven-class cruiser you've hidden under the polar ice. I know you have one." Her jaw tightened. "That ship is unfinished." "Then I'll finish what it can't," Kaito said. "I will find Ebon Fong before they strike again. If I fail, Earth will not have a second chance." Helena looked around the table, the faces of her advisors reflecting both fear and hope. Finally, she nodded. "The Raven will be prepped. Whatever you need." Kaito gave a short bow. "Prepare nothing. I work alone." He turned to leave, but paused at the doorway. "If I do not return, burn their name into the stars. Let the galaxy know humanity does not kneel quietly." Hours later, the icy winds of Antarctica howled over the hidden hangar as Kaito approached the Raven. The sleek, black ship was small, its hull coated in radar-absorbing polymers. It wasn't built for war, only for silence. A technician hesitated as Kaito passed. "Sir, we've barely tested the cloaking drive. No shields, no." "Good," Kaito said, stepping into the cockpit. "Shields make you visible. I need to be a ghost. The hangar doors opened with a groan. Snow whipped in as the ship's engines whispered to life. As the Raven lifted into the night, Kaido strapped himself into the pilot's seat, adjusting the controls with swift, precise movements. He reached into his pack, pulling out a roll of dark fabric. His weapons were simple: carbon steel blades, smoke pellets, EMP kunai, tools of an old world, sharpened for a new one. The stars stretched out beyond the glass canopy. Somewhere out there, the Ebon Fong waited. Kaido's mind sharpened like a drawn blade. This was no mission of glory. This was survival. On his Itherian dreadnought Daggerfall, Lord Verath Kryn studied the fractured feed from the failed assassin. His crimson eyes narrowed as he watched the masked human dispatch the cyborg with terrifying precision. A single primitive killed one of my best hunters. Kryn's voice was a deep growl. A subordinate bowed, fear trembling in his voice. Yes, Lord Kryn, we believe this ninja was trained for... Kryn's clawed hand slammed down, crushing the console. I don't care what he's trained for. Ebon Fong will deal with this shadow. Prepare the others. Earth must burn. Far from his sight, Kaido's raven slipped into the black void, silent as a whisper. The hunt had begun. The Zytherian dreadnought Daggerfall floated in orbit over a scorched moon, its surface glinting like obsidian under the cold light of a dying star. Inside its war chambers, Lord Verath Kryn stood before a massive holomap, his crimson armor reflecting the glow of tactical projections. The galaxy sprawled before him like prey pinned to a board. Behind him, the Ebon Fong assembled. 6 figures knelt in silence, their faces hidden by angular helmets. Each assassin was built from a fusion of organic muscle and alien nanotechnology, their bodies more machine than flesh. They radiated an aura of cold precision, like predators bred only for the kill. Earth, Kryn said, his voice deep and deliberate. A primitive rock, yet it resists. He turned, scanning the kneeling killers. One of you has already fallen to a human, a single shadow with no tech, no augmentation. How does that happen? No one answered. Their silence was not defiance, but fear. Kryn's claws tapped against the armrest of his command chair. You will find this ninja. You will dismantle him piece by piece. Do not underestimate humans again. They are dangerous because they are unexpected. One assassin, taller than the rest, spoke through a voice modulator that hummed like static. He is unenhanced. We will crush him. See that you do, Kryn replied, his tone sharp as a blade. He turned his gaze back to the map. If you fail me, you'll wish you'd fallen like your brother. Far from the dreadnought, the Raven glided between asteroid shadows. The stealth ship was nearly invisible, its heat signature masked, its black hull blending seamlessly with the void. Inside, Kaido sat cross-legged in the small cockpit, eyes closed, hands resting on his knees. He breathed slowly, steady as stone, his mind sharpening into focus. A soft beat broke the silence. The ship's AI, a calm female voice, spoke in low tones. Enemy activity detected, it said. Zytherian fleet traffic patterns indicate an outpost ahead. Likely Ebon Fong's staging ground. Kaido opened his eyes, their steel-gray depth reflecting starlight. Distance? 8,000 kilometers. No active defenses detected, but electronic sweeps are heavy. Approach undetected or risk exposure. Then we become the void, Kaido murmured, adjusting the manual controls. His hands moved with quiet precision, guiding the Raven through the asteroid field like a fish weaving through coral. The outpost came into view, a hollowed asteroid ring with energy spines, faintly pulsing blue. Kaido studied it through a narrow viewing scope, not trusting automated scans. Advanced tech could see patterns, but it could not understand intent. He needed his instincts, honed from years of training, to find the weak points. He slipped into his black combat suit and secured his weapons. Every tool was light, quiet, and built for precision. Smoke pellets, carbon steel blades, magnetic climbing hooks. Raven, he said, stay dark. Monitor for movement. If I don't return in 3 hours, erase your core and vanish. Understood, the AI replied. Kaido sealed his mask and launched from the airlock. In the silence of space, his form was a shadow drifting across the stars. Micro-thrusters on his suit nudged him toward the outpost. He landed on its surface without sound, his boots magnetizing against the cold metal skin. Inside, the outpost hummed with alien energy. Kaido crouched in the shadows of a narrow maintenance shaft, listening. Two Zytherian soldiers walked past, their voices low and distorted through helmets. He didn't understand their language, but tone and rhythm told him everything. Boredom, routine, the false safety of machines. He waited. One soldier paused, looking over his shoulder. A moment too long. Kaido's hand flicked, and a kunai embedded itself in the soldier's throat joint with surgical precision. The alien dropped without a sound. The second soldier turned just as Kaido's silhouette vanished into the dark. When the body was found, he was already deeper inside. In the command bay, Kaido crouched above a web of glowing consoles, perched in the rafters like a phantom. He watched the feed. 6 figures, Ebb and Fong, reviewed holographic targets. Earth's leaders, their locations, their defenses. Kaido's breath slowed. There was no path to victory through direct confrontation here. Not yet. He unclipped a small device from his belt, an EMP pulse grenade the size of his palm. Primitive compared to Zytherian tech, but brutally effective. He attached it to the convoy above him, timed for 10 seconds, and slipped into a ventilation shaft. The explosion was a whisper, a muted flash of blue. Consoles sparked and died. Alarms wailed. Ebb and Fong's voices cut through the noise. Who breached the grid? One demanded. Lock the outpost. Find them. They would find nothing. Kaido was already gone, gliding back toward the Raven. As the Raven detached from the asteroid's shadow, Kaido keyed the comms. Raven, record their target list. Encrypt it. Send it to Earth Command. Recording complete, the AI replied. Their priority targets include President Voss and 4 other council leaders. Their operations are fast-moving. Probability of multiple assassinations, 89%. Kaido's grip tightened on the controls. Not if I strike first. On the daggerfall, chaos rippled through the Ebb and Fong ranks. Reports of the outpost blackout and data breach reached Lord Kryn. He stared at the screen displaying corrupted logs. A human shadow again, Kryn said, his voice low with fury. He turned to his assassins. Do you feel it now? This is not a common prey. This is a predator moving in silence. I want his head. Bring me his mask. The leader of Ebb and Fong bowed. He won't see us coming. You underestimate him, Kryn said. I've watched the footage. He uses no machines, yet he kills as if born of death itself. Hunt him carefully, or he will hunt you. Back aboard the Raven. Kaido sat in silence, the stars drifting beyond the glass canopy. He studied the stolen data. Each face on the Zytherian hit list was a thread. He couldn't protect them all. Not alone. The ship's AI interrupted his thoughts. Warning. Long-range scans detect Zytherian ships altering course. They are moving to intercept. How many? 3 frigates. Ebb and Fong on board. Kaido stood, strapping his harness. Then the game begins. The Raven shifted, vanishing into a cloak of cold light, disappearing like a breath into the dark. The Raven drifted silently beneath the enemy's sensor web, riding the gravitational edge of a broken moon orbiting a dead star. On the scanners, nothing moved. No signal, no life, no heat. But Kaido knew better. Predators don't howl before they strike. Inside the stealth cruiser, he crouched by the weapon bench, hands moving calmly over his gear. Smoke capsules, shock darts, a carbon-edged Tonto. Everything quiet, everything precise. He wasn't preparing for war. He was preparing for surgery, one incision at a time. Enemy dreadnought located. The ship's AI announced. Vessel ID, Carrion Maw. Zytherian stealth class. Crew manifest. Unknown. Power signatures confirm at least 2 Ebb and Fong units on board. Kaido slid his Tonto into the sheath at the small of his back. Dock me. Quietly. The ship obeyed. The Carrion Maw loomed in a void like a wound cut into space itself, black, jagged, cold. It didn't look designed. It looked grown. Patches of the hull were semi-organic, a living alloy that pulsed faintly under starlight. Kaido's grapples latched silently onto an unlit section near the ship's underbelly. He stepped into the docking collar and vented atmosphere. Silence consumed everything. The outer hatch opened, revealing a curved access tunnel, dim and skeletal. No lights, no guards. Perfect. He moved like smoke. Inside the carrier maw, the corridors were alive with tension. The walls seemed to breathe faintly, nanites shifting like skin. Kaido didn't rely on his eyes. He trusted pressure changes, airflow, vibration. He moved through the ducts, bypassing patrols of drone scouts and sensor webs too refined for machines to dodge. At the core of the ship, he found his mark, a secondary operations hub. Quiet, unprotected. Too quiet. He dropped silently onto the floor. The moment his boots touched metal, the light snapped on. A voice echoed from every angle, metallic and amused. "I've been waiting, Earthborn." Kaido didn't move. The floor around him shimmered, and 6 beams of light sliced across the walls. One by one, members of Ebon Fong stepped from the shadows, uncloaking mid-step. Their movements were fluid, unnatural, enhanced by micro-actuators in their joints. The leader stepped forward, twin blades humming with energy. His voice came through a low modulator. "You've made this personal." "Good. We like it personal." Kaido answered only with silence. His hand dropped to his waist. The first Fong lunged. Kaido sidestepped, letting the assassin's blade pass within a hair's width of his throat. He dropped low, spun, and lashed out with a heel strike that crumpled a knee joint. No time to finish. Another assassin came in, slashing horizontally. He ducked, caught the attacker's wrist, and used their momentum to flip them into a pillar. The impact cracked bone beneath reinforced plating, but the others were closing in. Kaido threw a smoke capsule at his feet. The chamber filled with dense, shimmering fog, ionized particles that jammed optical sensors. He vanished. They adapted quickly. Infrared pings burst through the room. Motion detectors recalibrated. One of the assassins spotted a flicker and fired. Too late. Kaido dropped from above, blade first. His tanto slid through the gap between shoulder and chest plate, piercing the neural core. The assassin spasmed, then collapsed in silence. 3 left, Kaido whispered himself. The battle turned chaotic. The Ebon Fong spread out, their formation tight and deadly. But Kaido didn't fight from the center. He attacked from behind, from below, from places they didn't expect. Each time he appeared, he struck once. A tendon, a servo, an exposed feline, then vanished again. They grew frantic, angry, predictable. One shouted, "Coward, fight like a warrior." Kaido appeared behind him. "I'm not here for honor." He drove his blade into the base of the skull. 2 remained. They moved together now, backs tight, scanning in every direction. Their footsteps echoed in the now silent chamber. Kaido reemerged only to throw. A kunai, laced with EMP charge, struck the ceiling above them and burst. Their HUDs flickered. One staggered, blind for 2 seconds, long enough. Kaido was there, disarming one and breaking the other's arm in 3 quick movements. The last tried to flee. He didn't make it far. Kaido's wire trap snapped tight around his throat from a pre-laid snare. Silence again. Kaido crouched over the only one still alive. Barely. He pulled off the helmet. The assassin inside was part human, part synthetic. His eyes flickered with fear and static. "You're not possible," the dying Fong gasped. "You have no tech, no enhancement." "I have something better," Kaido replied. "Discipline." The assassin coughed blood. "Kryn will come. He'll hunt you. You'll die alone." "I was born in silence," Kaido said, standing. "I'll die in it, too, if it means Earth lives." He placed an encrypted beacon on the body and activated the signal. Earth Command would find the evidence, the list of targets, the schematics, and proof that even Ebon Fong could bleed. He planted charges throughout the operations hub and made his way back to the Raven, vanishing into the corridor as the first sparks began to flicker behind him. Lord Varath Kryn stood on the daggerfall, eyes fixed on the flames erupting from the outpost ship. A comms officer stammered, 3 confirmed dead, 1 unresponsive. All Fawn units. The outpost is lost. Kryn turned slowly. How many men did he bring? Just 1. Kryn's fist clenched. Then he is not a man. Aboard the Raven, Kaido removed his mask and sat in silence. Sweat ran down his jaw. One shoulder throbbed. He'd taken a blow deeper than he'd let show. But pain was irrelevant. The Raven's AI spoke softly. Next Ebon Fong sighting triangulated. They are regrouping near the edge of the Arcadi system. Kaido looked out at the stars, voice steady. Then we go before they finish regrouping. If they want a shadow war, I'll teach them how Earth fights in the dark. The daggerfall cut to the void like a predator's fang, its hull layered in jagged black plating that shimmered faintly under the light of a distant sun. Inside its fortress-like core, Lord Varath Kryn sat alone in the command sanctum. The chamber was carved from obsidian alloy, with edges so sharp they seemed to slice the surrounding light. Kryn's red eyes burned against the dark. His jaw clenched as a holographic feed replayed the footage of Ebon Fong's defeat. The grainy image of Kaido flickered like a phantom, striking, vanishing, striking again. Kryn didn't see a man. He saw a shadow that defied his empire's precision. Primitive, he muttered, though doubt slid like oil beneath his tone. Yet dangerous. Far from Kryn's command, the Raven hovered in the blind spot of the Daggerfall's scanning arrays. Kaido knelt in the narrow cockpit, his mask resting beside him, his breathing slow and measured. His shoulder ached from the last fight, but pain was a familiar companion, as instructive as a mentor. Stealth window opening. The AI whispered. Docking within their maintenance array is possible for exactly 40 seconds. After that, detection is inevitable. 40 seconds is enough, Kaido replied, standing and fastening his weapons. He secured a coil of climbing wire to his belt, the Tonto blade on his back, an EMP device the size of his palm tucked into his left wrist guard. There would be no second attempt. The Raven kissed the Daggerfall's outer hull with a quiet metallic sigh. Kaido slipped through the docking tube and into the ship's innards. The corridors were darker than night, lit only by faint red emergency lines pulsing along the walls. He crouched, feeling the subtle hum of the ship's core. Every vibration told him a story, the heartbeat of a beast made of steel and power. He moved through the labyrinthine passages, silent as breath, until he reached the inner sanctum doors. They were tall, angular slabs reinforced with energy seals. 2 guards stood at either side, their armor bristling with integrated weaponry. Kaido waited in the shadow of an overhead pipe until the guards shifted, stepping apart for a patrol check. He dropped like a falling blade, a blur of movement. One guard's throat snapped under his grip. The other's visor shattered with precise, quiet strike from the edge of his palm. Neither made a sound. Inside the sanctum, Kryn was waiting. I wonder when you would come, the warlord said, not turning as Kaido slipped inside. His voice echoed like the grind of metal on stone. The silent killer from Earth. You've already slaughtered what was mine. Now you've come for me. Kaido's voice was calm. You sent assassins to my planet. You wanted Earth to kneel. I'm here to tell you it never will. Kryn turned then, and Kaido saw the full weight of him. The warlord was immense, his frame encased in armor that was both ceremonial and lethal, laced with scarlet circuitry. His helmet extended into jagged points like a crown of blades. He carried no weapon because he was one. You are bold, Kryn said, but boldness is not strength. My empire thrives because it crushes those who believe they are exceptions. You think your empire understands war, Kaido replied, stepping into the center of the room. But you've forgotten what fear looks like in the dark. Kryn smiled, a slow, humorless curve of his lips. Then show me. The room changed. With a flick of Kryn's wrist, the floor shifted, gravity collapsing and twisting until Kaido felt the pull sideways, then up. The chamber itself became a weapon. Walls retracted to reveal razor-edged pillars rotating in midair. Kaido adjusted instantly, his body a coil of motion. Kryn lunged, faster than his size suggested, his gauntlet striking like a hammer. Kaido twisted aside, the blow narrowly missing his ribs. Then in the metal wall behind him, Kaido struck back, Tonto flashing. Kryn caught the blade in his armored hand, sparks screaming as steel met alien alloy. He shoved Kaido backward, his strength overwhelming. "You are quick," Kryn said, "but I have the strength of 10 worlds. Your blade will break before I do." Kaido's breathing steadied. "Then I won't fight your strength." He vanished, rolling under Kryn's next swing, his body slipping between the gravity shifts. He leapt to a pillar, using it as a springboard to flip behind Kryn. His Tonto slashed low, cutting the cables feeding Kryn's exosuit. Sparks erupted, the hum of the armor faltering. Kryn roared, spinning. Clever insect. The battle became a dance of predator and shadow. Kryn's blows could crush steel, but Kaido moved like smoke, never where he was expected, always just beyond reach. He struck nerves, joints, weak points hidden between plates of armor. Kryn's rage grew, his movements less calculated, his strikes heavier but slower. Why fight for Earth? Kryn demanded, swinging with a gauntlet fist. Kaido ducked, rolling to his feet. "Because it's mine," Kaido said, voice even. "And because we fight for more than empires and machines. We fight for the right to choose." Kryn laughed, the sound deep and hollow. "Choice is an illusion. Power is all that matters." "Then you've already lost." Kaido planted his last EMP device on the floor and triggered it. A wave of blue light rippled outward. Kryn's exosuit shuddered, its power core stalling. His movement slowed, his strength waning as mechanical servos froze. Kaido stepped in, sliding beneath Kryn's guard. His Tonto plunged deep into the armor's side seam, twisting. Kryn bellowed, dropping to one knee. "You can't kill me," Kryn growled, blood mixing with oil on his lips. "I don't need to," Kaido replied. He triggered the Raven's uplink, sending encrypted footage of Kryn's failure to Earth Command and the galaxy beyond. "The galaxy will see you bleed. That's enough." Kryn swung one final time, a desperate, crushing blow. Kaido moved in close, letting the swing pass, and drove his fist into Kryn's exposed jaw with the precision of a master strike. The warlord collapsed, armor cracking as he hit the floor. Kaido stood over him, chest rising and falling. He looked down, mask expressionless. "Tell your empire, Earth is not prey." The alarm screamed. Backup forces were coming. Kaido left Kryn breathing but broken, vanishing into the ducts as the Daggerfall shuddered with his planted charges. Minutes later, the Raven detached from the ship, sliding into the void as explosions rippled across the Daggerfall's flank. Kaido sat in the cockpit, his voice steady despite the ache in his muscles. "Raven, broadcast the footage. Every free world needs to see this." "Message sent," the AI replied. Kaido closed his eyes, allowing a breath of quiet to fill him. One battle was over, but the war had just begun. The Raven floated beyond the burning remains of the Daggerfall, its black hull absorbing the fading light of explosions. Inside the cockpit, Kaido sat silent, his breath controlled, his heartbeat steady despite the chaos behind him. Through the viewport, the Zytherian dreadnought bled fire into the void. It was wounded but not destroyed, and Kaido knew Kryn would rise again if the final strike was not made. The ship's AI broke the silence. "Enemy reinforcements are converging. 4 cruisers inbound. Estimated time to contact, 9 minutes. Then we finish this now," Kaido said, standing. His shoulder throbbed from the fight, but he ignored the pain. "Prepare the stealth trajectory toward the dreadnought's engine spine. We're going in." "You cannot disable a dreadnought alone," the AI warned. "I can if I'm a shadow," Kaido replied, fastening his mask. The Raven skimmed the debris field, weaving through jagged metal fragments like a predator gliding through reeds. Kaido launched once more into open space, the cold biting through his suit. He carried only what he needed, 2 EMP grenades as Tonto, and a single black capsule strapped to his chest, a compact antimatter charge. The Daggerfall's hull loomed ahead, scarred from his earlier sabotage. Kaido latched onto a ruptured maintenance hatch, slipping inside with the silence of a breath. The ship groaned around him, its systems failing in places but still dangerous. As he advanced, he felt the hum of movement ebb and fall. The remaining assassins were hunting him now, their steps sharp, their presence heavy like wolves circling prey. He dropped into a shadowed corridor, waiting. One passed overhead, its silhouette flickering with faint blue light. Kaido moved, faster than thought, his blade slicing across the assassin's knee joint. The alien collapsed with a metallic screech. A second assassin lunged from behind, claws whistling through the air. Kaido twisted aside, his motion fluid, letting the claws scrape harmlessly against the wall. The fight was brutal but brief. He used the zero-gravity sections to his advantage, kicking off bulkheads and spinning through narrow gaps. Every strike was precise, cutting through their reliance on machines. In minutes, silence returned, the assassins floating lifeless in the dark corridor. "Kaido," the AI whispered through his calm bead, "your window is closing. Zytherian cruisers are almost here." "Then I need to make this count," he replied, reaching the engine core. The room was massive, filled with a lattice of glowing energy conduits and pulsating reactor columns. The heat made the air shimmer. Kaido climbed the girders like a spider, avoiding sensor beams, until he reached the central reactor line. He placed the antimatter charge carefully, securing it between two power conduits. "This will tear the spine from the beast," he murmured. As he armed the device, a deep, familiar voice cut through the chamber. "You think you can kill me with tricks?" Kaido turned. Lord Kryn stood at the far end of the room, no longer in full armor, but still imposing. His crimson eyes burned with fury. His left arm was bound with cracked plating, his jaw bruised from their earlier fight. But his presence was unshaken. "You should have run," Kryn said, stepping closer, the ground trembling under his boots. "Your little victory means nothing. You can't kill an empire." Kaido's stance tightened, his blade reflecting the reactor's glow. "Empires fall when one man refuses to kneel. You've already lost." Kryn roared, lunging with raw strength. The fight erupted in a storm of motion. Kaido ducking, weaving, striking fast and low. Kryn countered with crushing blows that rattled the chamber. Sparks showered as they slammed against the reactor walls. "You're fast," Kryn growled, blocking a slash with his forearm. "But speed won't save you from the weight of power." Kaido didn't answer. He feinted, drawing Kryn forward, then rolled under his guard, driving his blade into the warlord's thigh joint. Kryn roared, grabbing Kaido's arm, trying to crush it. Pain lands through Kaido's muscles, but he twisted free with a calculated strike to the warlord's wrist, dislocating it. The warlord stumbled, breath ragged. "You think you're more than human," he spat. "No," Kaido said, his voice calm and cold. "I'm just enough." With a final surge, Kaido kicked Kryn back into the reactor platform and triggered the antimatter charge's timer. A sharp beep echoed through the room. Alarm screamed. Kryn's face twisted with rage. "You'll die with me, human." Kaido leapt backward, grappling to the overhead girders. "Not today." He sprinted through the collapsing corridors, his mind clear, every movement efficient and precise. Behind him, the charge counted down, seconds bleeding into silence. He reached the Raven just as the timer hit 0. The explosion bloomed inside the daggerfall, ripping through its spine in a burst of white light. The dreadnought buckled, fire tearing through its decks, pieces of its hull breaking apart and spinning into the void. As the Raven shot away, Kaido sat in the cockpit, watching the destruction. His breath was steady, his mind quiet. The AI spoke. "Transmission complete. The galaxy has seen Kryn's defeat. Rebellions are sparking across 4 systems." "Good," Kaido said softly. "They'll know Earth is not alone in the dark." The journey home was silent. Kaido stood once more beneath the pale sky of Earth, the wind brushing across the snow-covered plains near the hidden hangar. He carried his blade on his back, its edge stained but unbroken. President Helena Voss awaited him. Her expression was firm, but her eyes carried a weight of respect. "The transmissions, they've changed everything. You've ignited hope." Kaido removed his mask, his face calm, marked by exhaustion but not defeat. "Hope is a weapon they'll never understand." "Will they come back?" she asked. Kaido looked toward the horizon, where the sun cut a thin line of gold across the ice. "Yes," he said, "empires don't stop, but neither do shadows." That night, Kaido stood at his master's grave, high in the mountains where the wind howled like a whispering spirit. He knelt, setting his mass upon the stone. "The galaxy knows now," he said quietly. "We are not prey. We are the blade in the dark." He rose, the stars above him sharp and endless. Somewhere out there, the Zytherian Empire burned with anger and fear. The war was far from over. But for now, Earth had spoken, and its whisper was louder than any empire's roar.